Cherie Hansen here. I have been in some other space, spaced out, floating somewhere, and it was Korea. I've spent so many days watching series from Korea and just being fascinated by the themes and the major one that is coming through in almost all of their series is how a nation undergoes attacks constantly. They were attacked by Japan. They had China coming in. They had the U.S. coming in, and always being pulled and pulled. And then within the country itself, the battle was between Confucianism and Buddhism. And the Confucians thought the Buddhists were horrific and tried to extinguish them. So as I'm watching this, I am thinking about how we fall into a trap of thinking that our own particular conflicts or our own particular sense of scarcity, or the feeling that we're sacrificing something if we don't get what we've always had. It really comes so clearly when you look at some other countries that have gone through so much stress and turmoil. And the issue is about how you think about it. We have so much. I mean, my God, if you spend like 4 or 5 days looking at another country's history, and you see the harrowing and the pillaging and the destruction that went on. As somebody who sits in Canada, I can see very clearly that the issue is always the same issue, and that is the mind wants what the mind wants. And the mind wants what it has established a habit for. So, as Pema Chandra says so brilliantly, if you want to find out how grasping the mind is, all you have to do is have a hot bath at a certain time in the evening for a certain number of days, and then deny yourself that hot bath. You will watch your mind grasping for what it thinks it's entitled to, because you've set up a habit. I don't think understanding about the habit mind makes it any easier to deal with the foibles of the mind. I struggle so much to get a new habit in place, hardwired. And there's a difference between, just doing it until you think it's a habit and doing it to the point where you actually crave it. So let's take fitness, for instance. I was a dancer for much of my life. I've been very physical, and then I went through this period where I wasn't. As a teacher for 30 years, I was relatively sedentary. Now that I've gotten back into walking every day and doing weights and being physical, I can remember how a hardwired habit actually craves the activity that you have set up in your mind. So let's take, for instance, feeling really healthy. You've done this, you've taken care of your body, you haven't been drinking poisons that affect your brain and have to be cleared out by your liver, you haven't been eating things that take your energy down. So what happens is then you start to crave those things. What would I like to eat? Oh, I want to cut up some of that kale in my yard, man, with a little bit of vinegar on it. I'm craving it. So this is a thing that I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to talk about how the mind colors everything. It's like squid ink. It's like you're an octopus and you're in the water and you're afraid and you just turn the water dark, and then you sit there and go, oh my God, my water is dark. I can't see anything. Well, baby, you did that. You're the one that's putting that ink out there in the water. So I'm just sharing with you the way I talk to myself, all respect intended. And so we come to a place where we just simply work with the brain in the way the brain works, and that is repetition. Keep doing it until you get to the place where your body actually craves it. You crave being in nature. You crave eating well. You crave meditation. You crave deep breathing and deep sleep. And it is so much easier when you set up that appetite for a habit. As a dancer, I can tell you, I worked so hard physically every day, did shows, choreographed, and I remember one day when we drove down for a master class with Paul Taylor, the drive down and the next day of not dancing and 2 days without moving, and my body was screaming at me. It's like, you've got to move. You've got to do something. What are you doing? You cut me off. And so I ended up going out and just walking on the campus as hard and as fast as I could. And that's the point where it gets to be just so cool. When you get to a place where you crave, you have an appetite, you have a yearning for the things that make you healthier, that make your vibration higher, that make you feel better about life. But you have to work with the brain first and build up the habits in the body. And it takes repetition. So that's the thought I was having as I was watching the shows on Korea. It was like, come on, it's not so bad. You don't have armed troops coming in from 4 directions, smashing your country flat. Certainly, you can have enough strength to be able to sit peacefully and to design your own life in these conditions. That's the way I talk to myself. Just sharing it with you. Just be glad I'm not in your head. Anyway, thank you.